everyone can take a seat, we're going to get started here in about 1 minute. We're going to have Jim Dean up first. You guys can just take a seat. Thanks.
Good morning. Good afternoon. All right. Okay, I'm Jim Dean. I am with Democracy for America. I came out here because we are in really a race that is extremely important right now, and I really want to thank all of you for taking time out of your schedules, your families, the folks you're taking care of, your jobs, to engage in what is really going to be a national race right now. And I want to talk about this a little bit and talk about why it's important, and then we're going to get this program started real quick. There's a lot of people out there that'll tell you that the politics within the Democratic Party or within the United States of America are all about the left versus the right versus the middle, to the left of center to the right of center, blah, blah, blah. That is not true. The politics in this country right now, particularly within this party, are about a culture of activism versus a culture of incumbency. And the game has changed. You know, it used to be that people sent people off to Congress to disappear to Washington and get a couple of bones thrown back to the district once in a while, and see a bunch of TV commercials come re-election time. The voters want more. The American people want folks who are in this to do something for this country and not in this just to be elected to office. And that is why we, and many of you, are here to support Mark Pera, our next congressman here in this district. And the other thing I want to mention is that this race is being watched in a lot of different places. And I don't mean on just the blogosphere, which is a big group around the country, but this country and the media are watching this race. And it is extremely important that we win, which we can do, because we have the power right now, right here, today, to change the narrative of politics in America right now, so that people understand that it is about a culture of activism, that it is about candidates who are really committed to doing things, that it really is about candidates who have the courage of their convictions to stand up for what's good about the country and not just what the polls say, and especially it's about candidates who are honest with the voters about where they stand on the issues. And the media is following this race and a couple of other primaries that we're involved in, and what we can do today is make the difference to change that narrative across this country by going out and getting some votes for Mark Pera. And the last thing I want to leave you with is this. There was a study by a Yale professor named Green, I don't remember his first name, that talked about the effectiveness of voter persuasion. And up here is canvas, up here is phone banking, then it goes to direct mail, and then underneath the floor on this graph is television and radio. Folks, the days of televising our way to victory are over, and they have been over for a long time. What you are doing and what you're going to do this afternoon is the most important part of politics in this country right now, which is the act of going out and respecting a voter enough to ask for their vote and their consideration for a great candidate, Mark Pera. And it is very important. I perfectly understand it is not easy to do this. Not everybody is going to be happy to see us this afternoon. Okay, it's true. But they understand that respect that we are offering, the act of asking for their consideration, it is the single most powerful thing we can do to get folks out to vote for Mark Pera. We can win this election. That's not in question right now. We have a good chance. And if you look at the poll numbers across this country and the presidential stuff, you will know that the pundits are not in control of this anymore. But it's on us to go out and get those votes. And we have an opportunity this afternoon in great weather to go out and do that. And I promise you that what you're doing this afternoon, even if you just get a couple of folks, is going to go a long way towards making Mark Pera the next congressman right here in the district. So I really appreciate your help. It's heavy lifting, but it's the most important part of politics, and we're going to get it done this afternoon. And thank you very much. And for that, I'd also like to now introduce our next speaker, William Magus of the North Loop DFA, who's going to talk a little bit more about what we're doing. And again, my appreciation to all of you for the hard work that you're doing, both on this campaign and for Democracy for America, so that we can do something about taking this country back to those who did it, built it. Thanks so much.
Hello, my name's William from the Loop DFA. Can we get those signs up? Thanks. We had Mark come and speak to our group a few months ago. Since then, we've been supporting him, telling our members to get out there doing the canvassing work. We're very thankful to have such a great reception here in Daly's own ward. You know, it's with being part of the Loop DFA. We're in the center of what is not the most transparent government in the city of Chicago. And so obviously there's been the connection with Lipinski and all that. So it's not only a national issue with an incumbency, a protection racket in a sense, a national party, but obviously more locally here too. And part of that clearly is it's not just a left-right thing. It's not, people don't think of Daley as left or conservative or whatever. They think of him in there. They think of all the rest of the aldermen that are in there. And that's kind of the question. Are we going to change? Are we going to be receptive to real politics, to really people being able to make their voices heard by working for candidates? Loop DFA has been out there, but nowhere near as much as Northside DFA. I think that's all because of Sandra. Sandra's done so much. Exactly. I just, further ado, I'd like to hear from Sandra Worthing, the head of Northside DFA.
Thanks, everyone. I'll just keep it brief because I want to hear Mark Pera, the man of the hour here. But we'll say one thing, which is that the combined efforts of members of Northside DFA, Loop DFA, and Oak Park DFA, we've knocked on the doors of 4,609 voters as of today. And realize that because we have now a February 5th primary, those were done on 0-degree days, on days when we were being snowed on, rained on, iced on. That's what we have to do, that's what we've done. But there's a few doors left. So I would encourage everyone who's able, after the rally, to take a walk sheet, go out, knock on a door. People are so receptive. I wasn't sure what it would be like canvassing the 11th Ward, but most people are happy to see you. They don't like Lipinski. It's shocking, really. The reception's been great for people. So. What's so fabulous is that we actually have a really fantastic person that they can elect in Dan Lipinski's place, and that person is Mark Pera.
I was waiting for tell me more. Tell me more. I didn't expect it so quickly. You know, I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am and how humbled I am at this outpouring of support on behalf of our campaign. To think that Jim Dean got up this morning at God knows what time, the crack of dawn, to catch the plane from Kennedy Airport at 6:45 in order to join us here, and I really, really wanted us to extend a great round of applause. Before I forget, to make sure you all know that my wife Leslie is here. My daughter Emily and one of my sons Jack. Sam and Ben, I'm sure would love to be here if we could get them out of being in college right now, but they'll be back next weekend to help us with the campaign. But first of all, I need to express my appreciation really to Northside DFA and to Loop DFA. They have done just terrific for us and given us just a great shot in the arm, a great boost. Actually, time goes by so quickly we forget, but I first met with the Northside and Loop DFA folks back in July. quite confident it was back in July. June. Even longer ago. And I know that we would not be where we are today without their strong support and their strong help, but it really is indicative. This is what you need to take away from this. It's indicative of what's going on throughout the length and breadth of this district. Yesterday in our city office on Pulaski, there were 60 volunteers going out, and they covered all of Berwyn yesterday. You know, you talk to an individual voter wherever he or she may be, for example, in the Granger, Western Springs, and they don't see what's going on with the campaign because they're not living it like most of us are. And they don't realize that there is just such support throughout the district. And there are so many reasons why we're getting such great support. You know, as we all know, Dan Lipinski votes with President Bush on many, many issues that are important to Democrats, whether it's choice or stem cell research, or the war, or environment and energy policy, or you name it. When Bush has needed a vote from a Democrat, he's turned to Dan Lipinski and gotten it, and people don't like it. The other thing that's going on in this race, though, is that people really want to see an independent voice for change coming out of this district and to represent the interests of this district in Washington, D.C. And that's why we've been able to get the support of folks like DFA and a coalition of Hispanics and Muslims, and people like Forrest Claypool and Deborah Shore and John Fritchie and Dan Katowski and many, many others, Planned Parenthood and NARAL, all of whom are joining together in support of this campaign because we know that we can make a difference. But the difference really begins at that door. And we have done a tremendous amount of our own door-to-door canvassing. Believe me, I was in Summit yesterday, all last week when it was below zero. We're at train stations, working hard. But I can't be everywhere at once. Leslie can't be everywhere at once. People like you are so critical to the process, to have folks like you that are willing to go out, knock on a door on my behalf, encourage people to come out and vote for us so that they know that there is finally in this congressional district a real choice that can be made in February and that they can make a difference in they can make a difference in regard to what happens in Washington, D.C. So that's the message that I hope that you're willing and able to deliver today. Thank God we got a beautiful day. You must have brought it with you from New York, although I know weather goes west to east. But again, I thank you so much. I appreciate your help so much. Have a little pizza, but then let's get the hell out of here and get to work. Thank you very much. Okay, eat and go.